So, something I was talking about today, I'm going to go ahead and share with y'all. So, not going to give you background story on it, but I'm going to give you something I want you to really start considering, because this is going to help you in future relationships and finding people, or really the person that you want to be with, okay? So, I don't know how many people have this at all. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And if you don't, you can just go ahead and click off the video because it's not going to apply to you. But maybe it will. I don't know. Continue to watch if you wish. But I'll just give it a scenario to you. You ever have like that person that you really just like, really you're like highly attracted to, and not so much necessarily only in the sexual sense, but in the way where there's just two things, right? There's just something about them you can't get enough of, right? Like every time they're around, it's just like there's just something about them that you're just like, oh my gosh, you know, you admire them a fuck ton, right? You have a lot of admiration, a lot of respect. You know, there's something about this person that you're curious, like, what is it that I like so much? Why is it that I'm naturally gravitated towards this person? You know, what is it? I want to know this person more, right? There's that type of attraction. And then there's also, in the same sense, this attraction where, and some people might argue with me and be like, nah, this is just called you can't let the fuck go. Let me finish, right? So, the type of attraction where there's just this one person in your life that, you know, you may have your time and distance with, and you may have gotten away from and whatnot. I don't know how many people have had this case. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But I'm talking like the one person where, like, and keep in mind, I can get over people fairly easy. Like, you know, like when I have an ex, like, you know, once I'm moved on, I'm moved on. You know, there may be memories like, hey, yeah, you kind of cute. Like, I'd fuck with you, but like very, very rarely will I ever continue to have feelings for you even after being rejected, right? So, I don't know, man. Maybe there's just that one person that constantly has your heart, constantly has that place in you that when you see them, it might not do anything at that particular moment, but 10 hours later, 24 hours later, or maybe in a 24-hour period, it's just, you wake up and you can't stop thinking about him. And it's like your heart got touched again. And it's fucking crazy to me, like, how it keeps happening. Like, you know, like, I could be months, you know, I'm talking like you could be months away from this person. You see him one day, 14 hours later, I mean, you and this person already, I mean, you're already kind of going a little crazy over this person. I don't know. Maybe you know what this dynamic is. Maybe you don't. But that's not the point of this video. The point is, when you have people like that you're heavily, intensely attracted to, in one of those two ways, start paying attention to it. Don't brush it off and ignore it. I don't care where they're at in your life. I don't care who they are. You need to start really getting aware of these type of what it is that's bringing you so close to this person, right? You need, like, when you have deep states of attraction like that, you really need to pay attention to what is it that gravitates me so much towards this person? What is it that I just can't get enough of? Because whatever it is that you can't get enough of, it's the two things that, well, really, there's one thing that Teal Swan had said, so I'm going to share this one with you because I really think this is amazing. She says whenever there's an intense state of attraction between you and somebody, it's because that aspect of you is disconnected. Or because there's three things, because there's an Elliot Holst thing I'm going to say as well. So there's an aspect of you that you've disconnected from. There's an aspect of you in which you've become, whether you've suppressed or you've put in the shadow, or whatever it is, right? Well, actually, yeah, the shadow, because in astrology, you actually tend to be really attracted to the shadow side, right? Being why it's the house of relationships, and you tend to be attracted to people more with those states. Like for me, Capricorn, I tend to be attracted with women, not so much with like power, but like that's about their shit. Like, you know, like they hustle, they get after it. And for me, I'm kind of like weird, where I like a woman that has a sense of power, in the sense that she she gets after it, right? I don't know. I like when a woman gets after her shit and she's working on her craft. Not the point though. What was I saying? So yeah, it's something you've cast off into the shadow. It's an aspect of yourself that you've disconnected from. You're not really in touch with it. It's there, but you don't really associate too much with it, as you do in your other aspects that you like about yourself, right? And because of that, there's an intense polarity between you guys. So because of the polarity so strong, what is it? It's drawing you towards this person because that aspect is showing up. They're representing your shadow, and your shadow wants to surface, right? So you got to get close with that, whether it's with the actual person or just recognizing that this aspect within this person, what is it that I like so much about this person? What you need to do is you need to get a list out, and this is for every single method. You need to get a sheet of paper out. I'm going to do this soon, where you're going to get a sheet of paper out, or you're going to go on your notes on your phone. I don't care how you do this. You're going to write that person's name, and you are going to write down everything that you like about that person. Everything about them that you like. I don't care how fucking homosexual it seems or how weird it seems, right? Like, and the whole reason I bring up homosexuals is because, like, let's say, you know, you have, like, a guy that you, like, admire and shit, and, you know, like, for me, like, Elliot Holmes, who I greatly fucking admire, right? You pay attention to that. You write all the details down. Well, not even the just write all the aspects, traits, qualities, everything about them that you like. Everything that you can. Fill that fucking list up. And then be aware of it. And then notice which ones really stand out to you. Because those are the aspects that you need to get the most in touch with. Those are the aspects that you need to, like, latch and allow yourself to embody. Because that's where you're leading, right? Which leads me to point 2, Elliot Holmes, where he was saying that he actually quoted Brian Tracy for this. He says, that which we secretly admire, we are becoming ourselves, right? So, for example, let's take like, I'm going to use a different example. Let's say Brad Pitt, right? No, let's say Marlon Brando, right? Like, I, for a while, was, like, obsessed with Brando. Like, God, you know, I couldn't get enough of him. I always wanted to watch his movies and see his interviews. Like, I was hooked on this guy, man. And one of the main reasons for that is because I was becoming that. Marlon was a representation. He had aspects in which were already forming within me. That it was in my path. It was on the way of which I wanted to become, right? Same for, I remember Eric Thomas. When I started watching him, I started to really admire him a lot. Why? Because that was somebody that was representing what I was becoming, right? So when you see people like that that you admire a lot, be very conscious about the fact that you are all, if you are admiring them, there's a very big chance that you already are becoming them, right? You are already becoming what they represent, right? That aspect is already forming within you. So that's actually a really good sign, right? Like, I want to be so much like them. Well, guess what? You're already becoming like them because it's already forming itself in you. That's the reason that admiration is happening. Now, I know that kind of contradicts Teal's point in a sense, because, you know, it's an aspect of you that's disconnected. But the thing is that you're still drawn to it, right? And the point with Teal's first point is that the aspect is surfacing. It is arising. And that's the whole reason it showed up, is because now it's allowing itself to surface into the light. The shadow is showing up. Same way, like in Elliot's example, the aspects are showing up. And we admire it because there's so much polarity, but as we get closer to it and we embody it more and more and we form more of it, you'll notice the polarity dies down a bit because the attraction dies down a bit because the polarity is not as extreme. And then, what was I going to say for number 3? Actually, number 3 was really, so number 3 is kind of the sum up of this. Get to know the aspects. Because these aspects that you see in other people, whatever role they play in your life, again, get that list out, know what aspects it is. Because whatever role it is that they're playing in your life, whether it's Teal as a mentor, whether it's Elliot as a father figure, whether it's Marlon as just a career idol. I don't know, right? Whether it's this chick is your potential girlfriend, whatever it is, pay attention to that. Because those aspects are going to guide you to the type of are going to be very important and crucial in the type of people you decide to allow to fill those roles. Now, again, it becomes very subconscious, right? Most relationships that you form are not very conscious, right? You don't really think about, you don't really think about, oh yeah, you know, like, it's not analytical. It's not an analytical process for you to decide whether you want a relationship with somebody. It's very subconscious. It's usually, wow, I like this person. This person's really cool. We vibe well together, right? And then bam, y'all are friends just like that, right? Because the attraction is there, right? And the relationship forms. But you have to be very conscious about what it is that you want to get close with. What is it that your subconscious, what is it that your shadow wants to merge with? What is it that that's bringing the surface? What is it that it's trying to get close to? Because those aspects that you're trying to get close to, right, that those things that you like so much about that person, especially if it comes down to partners, this is the one I really want you to pay attention to. If it comes down to partners or like potential partners, you're going to have to really pay attention to that, because whatever it is that you like in them so much and extremely, that's a pretty big guide on what characteristics you might be looking for in the love of your life without realizing it. Like the ultimate love of your life, correct? That right there, you're going to have to pay attention to those in the people that you decide to form relationships or have a desire to form the relationships with, because those are the aspects that you are subconsciously searching for in other people, and you have to be aware of, does this person have this? Does this person? Now, like I said, of course, our relationships are formed subconsciously, but it's very important to be conscious, because you got something called manipulators out there, right? And a common manipulation tactic is actually mirroring, right? Where we take the aspects of you and then we mirror it right back at you. So then you feel like you actually met somebody that, like, oh, there's so much to like me, right? You find out pretty quick it goes down and you realize this person is not about that bullshit. The fuck are you talking about, right? But that's not the big reason why I want you to be aware of your aspects. I want you to be aware of your aspects so that you know what it is that you like from a person. You know what it is that you're trying to get closer with, so that you can take time to yourself. Alright, second part of the video. So we didn't, it cut off on me halfway. So we're going to do this, you see, in the day after. But getting to the point, right? So what I was saying previously, I want you to get familiar with your aspects, because whatever those aspects are, you got to spend your own time, right, getting familiar with it, getting okay with it, and not even so much, I mean, you're attracted to, so obviously you like it, but whatever it is, I want you to spend time to yourself, because what you don't know is this could be in your shadow, and this, again, could be an aspect of yourself that you're denying, and this person is going to keep bringing out of you, right? And there's so much behind that I'm not going to get into, just for time purposes. But anyways, spend time to yourself, to nurture, to get familiar with, to hear that aspect out, to listen to it, to embrace it and understand what's going on with it. Spend your time, whether that's actually getting closer with the person, or whether that's, again, on your own time, getting familiar, or even doing both. Getting as close as you can to those aspects that you like in people that attract you to that attract you to this person and whatnot. Get familiar with that shit. Get familiar, because fuck, it's just you just have to. And also, what you're going to find is very interesting is when you're able to list these aspects down, like I was saying earlier in the video, when you've done two things will happen, right? So you're doing two things, right? You're knowing what characteristics you want from a person who is going to be in your life, which is important for you to notice, Even manipulators or not, it's important for you to be able to note and be able to tell whether somebody's got this or not, right? And whether that's somebody you feel is okay spending your time with. Even though relationships are more so intuitive based, it's still good to have conscious awareness, you know what I mean? And just being aware of it yourself, because if you can get closer to those aspects within yourself and nurture that, you're facilitating the process of not becoming whole, because I mean their aspects are already there, so it's already a part of you, but actually giving the nurturing to an aspect in which you haven't for a long time, which then in turn actually helps you out in the long run and brings you much more in touch with your higher essence and whatnot. And it's almost like you're wiping off